Are you new to City Heroes or a returning player wanting to know more about the Freakshow faction? I'm Controlled Chaos, and this video I'm going to talk to you just about that. Let's go ahead and get started. So the Freakshow is a really interesting faction in City Heroes in the fact that they have a diesel punk / cyberpunk look. They're cybernetics and really cool looking. They'll replace body parts with just metal, and it's very diagonal and hard and blades on it coming out of the shoulders, or they'll replace an arm that will have like a hammer on it, or a sickle or bladed hand, and the rest of the arm is all powered by hydraulics, which is why I say diesel punk inspired. And then the rest of them actually have their normal looking bodies have a punk look to them. Let's go ahead and start talking about the different types of freak shows that you will run across. First off, you will run across the freaks or the mad freaks. And these are minions, and you'll run across different types. You'll run across buckshots that use shotguns. You'll run across choppers that use revolvers and fireman axes. You'll run across freak gunners that will use submachine guns. You'll run across the freak slammer, which will use a heavy revolver and a sledgehammer. You'll run across a Rickety freak gunner, which will use a Rickety pistol. Then you'll have the mad freak buckshot, and then you'll also have the mad freak choppers, and so on and so forth, just like we mentioned. Now, all of these have the ability to heal themselves, so they're gonna be a bit of a hard fight because they'll keep on healing themselves. Another set that you'll run into in the minion areas is you'll run across enforcers and metals. And these enforcers, they'll have like the one cybernetic arm. And when you run across these minions that have the full metal arms and stuff like that, they'll throw out things like saw blades, which look really cool when they throw them. It's like a literal saw blade, but being used as a throwing star. Then they'll have a cybernetic hammer that they'll use, but on top of that, they get resistance. And then they also get, and this is very important for a lot of the freak shows, they get revives. Same with the rest of the ones I'm going to be talking about, except for a few. The Metal Smasher, for instance, he has a cybernetic hammer or hammers, so they could have a couple of them. They'll have hammer attacks. They'll also have resistance, so the metal hammers do not have the res. Then we have the swiper, that's an enforcer. That is switched with a sickle hand, a robotic arm with a sickle hand, and they'll do cybernetic blade attacks, and that's the difference with them. Then you have the metal swiper. Now the metal swiper will have metal blades arms or metal blade arm, and these are like big hands that they have at the end of the arm with blades for each finger. So think of it sort of as, if you've ever played Warhammer 40,000, look at a Chaos Space Marine with a power glove, how they have those clawed fingers. It sort of has that same look, but instead of being rounded, it's very angular, and it looks very just pure metal, just like all the others have. And this metal swiper does have revive, but we're not done yet. We also have juicer freaks. Juicer freaks have these electric poles, like Tesla poles, coming out from their shoulders, and it shoots lightning rounds. And then they have electric gauntlets that they're wearing, and they will shoot lightning balls and lightning bolts at you. They'll do shock attacks on you. They will also revive too, and they do have resistance and a heal. Plus they fly, so you watch out for that. Then you have these stunner freaks. The difference with the stunner freaks is the stunner freaks replace that lightning ball with a Tesla cage, so they can hold you, and they can hold you pretty good sometimes if you don't have a break free. Then we go on to the lieutenants. The lieutenants are called chiefs or champions, and the first one we have is the Chief Smasher. Once again, this is a hammer. They have the revives, all this other kind of stuff. Then we have the Champion Smasher. This one has one hammer or two hammers for the arms. And then the same with the rest of the revive and the resistance. Then we have the Chief Swiper. This is one cybernetic sickle blade. It has the heal, the revive, and the resistance, but no ranged attacks. I'll mention if they have ranged attacks. Then we have the Champion Swiper, which will have either one sickle arm blade or two sickle arm blades, and they do throw the saw blade. And then they have the heal and the res and the resistance. Then we have a Juicer Chief. The Juicer Chief has a lot to them, as they're able to fly, do lightning bolt, ball lightning, shock punch, heal, a res, and a resistance. Then we have the Stunner Chief. And the Stunner Chief takes away that ball of lightning and replaces it with the Tesla cage, and that's the main difference there. Now the cool thing is that there are some from the Vasilox who will join them. It's mainly the meat doctors. The meat doctors are the ones that do the cybernetic surgeries on them. So every so often you might run across a meat doctor, and if you do, they'll have poison darts and a blast of that type. They'll have a surgical electrical saw. They'll have a evacerate. They'll have a heal others and be able to resurrect other freak shows. So you want to take them out first if you see them in the group. That way you're not getting a triple or double res on one freak show. Next is we have the Juicer Sniper. This one replaces that ball lightning with zap, which is a long range shot. The great thing is these guys do not have the res or the defensive capabilities. They just have a heal. They also have a self-immobilized, probably dealing with that zap because it's a long charge up. Then we have the bosses, and there are several types of bosses. They're all called tanks, and it's the Tank Swiper, which has the ability to throw buzzsaw blades or saw blades, has the ability to shoot tank grenades, and has the sickle arms and one or both hands with the claws on them that I was talking about, like the Chaos Space Marines. These guys do revive. They have a chance of reviving. They have a heal. They have a resistance. Then we have the Tank Smasher. These guys switch out the blades with hammers. Going on from there, let's talk about how to fight them. You need to be careful when fighting them. You need to make sure that you have some good health on you for inspirations and defensive capabilities you have on you and stuff like that, because these battles will last long. And the reason being is because so many of the members of the Freak Show can res themselves. So it's not going to be, oh, I got a couple here, take them down, I'm done. No, it could be take them down. By the time you're taking down the second one, the first one's rezzed himself, then you're taking the first one down, and then the second one's rezzed himself, and you're taking the second one down. Not only that, if you're running into a group of 4 of them, all 4 of them can res up. And if there's multiple groups next to each other, they can actually res up after you finish fighting them and you go fight the other group nearby. That first group can res up and come running at you, adding more to the fight. And you'll have to take them out over and over again. During the recording of this video, I actually had that happen, and I had to kill a group of 8 16 times. And these guys, even though they are whites and blues, can be very dangerous. I'm on my demon mastermind, and I'm sending my pets in first, and here's a video showing I get taken out because they're re-resing themselves. There's 4. So as I'm working these guys down, they're re-resing themselves. I even got to the point where I went to re-res myself and immediately hit a break free. Before I could even hit the break free, they'd taken me out. So I had to do another res and meet break free and then heal and then hit flight and get the hell out of there to keep being able to film without having to do a run back to the hospital. So these guys, even at lower levels, can be very dangerous if you do not know how to handle them. I personally think that dominators and controllers, when they have their group holds, would be very powerful against the Freakshows, because then they can just group hold a group, do the damage they need to do, keep putting those group holds onto them, and then when they re-res, do one hold on one that's re-resed, fight him. When others start re-resing, hold them. Once they're all back up, then use the group holds. And that works out really, really well. If you're doing an electric build, drain all their energy. Just do that. They won't be able to fight back. They'll still be able to res though. That will happen. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with anyone else you think could use the help. Have a great day.